Thank you very much, and Happy New Year, everybody. As you know, Canadians are suffering. We have 1.5 million Canadians eating at a food bank in a single month. Reports of students living in homeless shelters because they can't afford the now $2,000 for average monthly rent. The cost of a mortgage payment is now a larger share of an average Canadian paycheck than at any time in recorded Canadian history. Some people are going to food banks asking for help with medical assistance in dying, not because they are sick, but because they are too poor and life is too miserable to go on. Why is inflation so exorbitant now? Well, the answer is the cost of government is driving up the cost of living. $500 billion of inflationary deficits has bid up the cost of the goods we buy and the interest we pay. Now, the Liberals will tell you it was all necessary, but we know that 40% of new spending in the last 2 years was not linked to COVID, according to the Parliamentary Budget Officer. We also know, according to the Auditor General, that about $30 billion of the COVID spending was questionable and $4 billion at least was wasted. One example, of course, is the ArriveCan app, whereby $50 million of contracts went to shady companies for questionable work. Some of the companies didn't do any work at all other than to recruit other companies that supposedly were to do the work, and that work was badly done because the app in the end did not even work. Now, on top of that, we learned that the Liberal government has given 30 times more money in contracts to the Liberal-linked firm McKinsey than did the prior Conservative government. Recent reporting has shown neither the company nor the government is willing to explain what the money was for. $66 million in core government contracts and tens of millions of dollars of other contracts from Crown corporations. One unnamed immigration public servant said that he or she did not even know what they got for the money. $25 million went to that department. And what did we get as Canadians? What are the results of this management company's ingenious work? Well, 2.1 million immigrants wait in the queue. Over 1 million are waiting beyond the acceptable legal timeframes. So we want to know what all this money was for. We also want to know about the outsized influence of this company in the operation of our government and our democracy. The company is under investigation for its involvement in politics and government in France. They've had to pay financial penalties for their role in facilitating the sale of opioids into the United States of America that helped deliver a massive drug overdose crisis that is now spread into Canada. And then finally, the director, former director of this company, managed to get himself the gig as our ambassador to China. So it's time for Canadians to get answers. We need to know what this money was for, what influence McKinsey has had in our government. And it is time for Canadian taxpayers to have answers to these questions. Poilievre government will bring answers and bring accountability. We will spend dollars to deliver good services to Canadian citizens who pay for them, not to give juicy contracts to powerful multinationals. And we will give Canadians back control of their lives and their government by ensuring that it is Canadians through their elected officials that make accountable decisions, not powerful multinationals with their own agendas imposing them on government decision makers. Thank you very much, and I now welcome your questions.